How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video for the week. Thank you for checking this video out. I just wanted to let you know that I actually really appreciate it. Trying to get to 100 subs by December. I think it's a reasonable goal, and I think we can all do it. We can do it, guys. Alright, so this video was actually... This idea was given to me by a subscriber. His name is Owen. Commented on my last video. This is what he wanted to see. He was like, I want to see what's in your tackle bag. And this time, like, for realsies. So, here's my tackle bag. I'm just going to do, like, a little disclaimer. This is, like, a hiking bag that I got for free. And... my tackle bag before that was one of those drawstring bags that I also got for free. So you don't need like anything like super crazy expensive. You don't like if you want to go out and get like a specialized like tackle like bag for tackle. I mean, go for it. Honestly, you don't need it because you're gonna have these trays in there anyway, and they fit. You don't need like 20 trays in your thing. You know, you could have, I have 3 trays in like a little box. So you don't need anything too crazy, but we'll break it down. What's in my tackle bag, and I'm just gonna like go through this pretty quickly. And what I have in here isn't necessarily something that everyone should have, because I like to fish for like a wide variety of species. So the first thing we have in here, good old standby, bottle ranch. You need this in your tackle bag to slap them walleye, okay? If you don't have this, you ain't gonna catch them walleye. All seriousness though, okay, so we'll go through. I got this bag off of Buddy. Here's what we have in it. Have like a little headlamp if I'm night fishing. Off in this pouch, have a bottle of bug spray, essential. Also, I have a bottle of sunscreen on the counter that I will be taking with me, so I don't burn. Little tool that I have this like kind of neat little tool. So what this does is kind of like, it's like little clippers for your line, and then it also has a little hook sharpener on it. In this back pouch here, I usually keep these pliers. Oh, excuse me, I am so sorry. I usually keep these pliers back here, but I've been using them for bait making. So I have those. And I also have a leader and some pike hooks. I'll probably use those pike hooks for saltwater fishing, just because they have the steel leader on them. And like everything in the salt has like sharp teeth. I also have this digital scale that my buddy Colton left in my vehicle. So Colton, if you want this back, you'll have to come down here and visit me. But I've been using this, like, I used that quite a bit last summer. What else is in here? Woohoo! Split shot. Nothing crazy. What else? Some beads for some Carolina rigs. And that's, like, just, a lot of it's just miscellaneous odds and ends. There's some, like, batteries in there for the scale. So I don't want to keep the batteries in the scale and them get all corroded and gross. So like in this main compartment, I took everything. Oh, wait, before that, like it has these side pouches because it's a hiking bag. Let's see what we got in the one. So in the one, I have a stringer, pocket knife. If I want to keep a couple fishies, put them in the grease when I get home, got the stringer. If I catch something kind of like, if I catch like something I can use as cut bait to catch bigger fishies, I got a knife. On this other pouch on the other side, I keep all of like my little extra stuff that's not in my trays. So you always gotta be prepared. So I got this tiny little bobber that's like adorable. And I have like a ton of hooks already like still in the package. Honestly, this is probably the way to go to keep things organized. Because I know exactly what size they are. I know how many are in there in case I need more. And they're not all loose in my tray. So like right on top, I have size 10 bait holder hooks. Because like the last thing I caught on this was a goldfish. It was flipping awesome. Because you never know when like you go past a little creek and you cut up a little night crawler. Deadly. Also got some drop shot weights and some like split rings in there because you never know. So that's it for that. In the main compartment, I took all that stuff out. We'll start with my favorite box. So literally it says hooks and weights on it. And that's all that's in this box is hooks and weights. There's also some miscellaneous stuff like some swivels, some like random like split shots, bobber stops for Texas rigs or for bobbers. Mainly I use them for Texas rigs. Also, I just keep this little tungsten I have in this little baggie that it came with because that's just a good way to keep it organized. Have some hooks for drop shots, ton of weights. There's like treble hooks up there too. And then a lot of extra wide gap hooks in various sizes. I think this is like a 4/0. Mainly this box is for like drop shot rigs, wacky rig hooks in here, but mainly Texas and like Carolina rigs. Haven't tried the Carolina rig too much, but I Texas rig a lot. It's probably my favorite thing to do, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But we're cruising through. We're trying to get everything so this isn't a super long video. So in this box it says jerk baits, but I don't have, with my move, had to get rid of a lot of these trays and condense stuff down. I also sold off a lot of things that I didn't use anymore. So in this, exactly what it says it is. There's jerk baits. A lot of these are Rapalas. Mainly is what I use for jerk baits and crankbaits is Rapalas. Just what I grew up using. My dad always bought them, so it's like if my dad's using them, I'm gonna use them. But I'm looking to branch off a little bit from that and try some different ones. Also have a chatterbait. I also got a chatterbait tied on my rod, and I got a couple spinner baits in here. Both of those are something that I need to stock up more on. Also need to stock up more on hollow belly frogs. And I also have some spoons in here. But before, this was all just filled with jerk baits of like various sizes, like little tiny floating rapalas that I used for going out and like catching stalker trout. Like, biggest secret from this video, the smallest floating rapala that you can find, or a countdown, and in the rainbow trout or brown trout color, those are gonna slap some stalker trout. Believe you me. This next box, crankbaits, but it doesn't just have crankbaits in it. So I had a box just for jigs, but now I got a bunch of jigs right in there. Mainly in green pumpkin. I need to get a little more like black and blue. But I have a lot of lipless crankbaits here. Got some shallow divers, like shallow diving ones and square bills, and then I got deep divers. Probably the most notable thing in this box is this pre-Rapala Storm Wigglewort in like this hot perch color. And I got this from one of my best friends before I moved. So Pierce, if you're watching this, I fished this for free fishing weekend down here. Haven't caught anything with it, but I will. I'll make you proud, buddy. I love you. Okay, so moving on from the bromance. But again, a lot of these are Rapalas, or a lot of the lipless crankbaits in here are Bill Lewis rattle traps. I really like those as well. One of my favorite colors was blueberry perch, and I lost that to a tree, so eventually I'll have to get a new one. Next thing, real quick. So one of my first tackle boxes, like one of these double-sided ones. But when I was up in the Midwest, up in South Dakota, so this was like mainly kind of like my walleye fishing little box, if you will. So in it, I have a lot of these like bucktail jigs that I tied up myself. I have these like I didn't have any like Ned heads, so I squished down some regular jig heads and like have them as Ned heads, and then I these are just like little extras off of Senkos that kind of got tore up, but didn't want to quite throw them away yet because those are kind of spendy. Other than that, I have like jig heads in here. And the flip of it, I got these. The thing I use most is probably like these little crappie jigs that I tie up, and those, and like more jig heads of various sizes for panfish walleye. But these little crappie jigs slap. Like, I've had the most luck on just those for like catching anything. By flipping, my better half, my girlfriend, she caught a clam on one of those little crappie jigs. That was flipping just wild to me. And there was this son of a gun to get off the hook. Like, what the heck, clam? Moving on to like soft plastics. Got rid of a lot in the move. A lot that I didn't use and that I thought other people could benefit from. So I got these on sale. These are 4-inch Gary Yamamoto Senkos. And these slap at like little ponds and stuff. I've caught bass like that size off of these. It is redonkulous. Probably some of my favorite, here it is. Probably some of my favorite like punching like baits. So I got these Zoom Ultra Vibe Speed Craws. They're not very big, but they go in and out of like stuff real easy because of their profile. And I use them for jig trailers like Bitsy Bug jigs, or like, you know, little tiny more finesse ones. And then I have a lot of creature baits here. So of course we have Guggen baits. Have yet to catch a fish on these. My favorite, missile baits, D-bombs, and then second favorite, Reaction Innovation, sweet beavers. Moving on, walleye, like more walleye plastic, green pumpkin, curly tail grub. These I use for my rat wake baits. I use the tails. I use these to make the tails on them. If you want to check like some of that out, that's on my Instagram at BeyerLureCo if you want to check it out. And then I have these lunker logs. Have yet to catch a fish on these too, but I've caught a lot of fish on the Gary Yamamoto Senkos and the regular size too. And then some like tiny zoom flukes for drop shots, and then these power baits, hit worm for drop shots as well, for going out and fishing for smallmouth bass. And then I got this cool little thing I made. It's like a Sharpie marker, but I made it into a wacky rig tool because I didn't want to spend $5 on a wacky rig tool. So basically, your Senko goes in there, and then you can just like roll this rubber band on, and then it's like easier to wacky rig. Flippin'. Am I like a genius? No. Do I have like good ideas sometimes? I think so. But moving on, like what I wanted to talk about. So when I was in the Midwest, I'd consider myself like more of a multi-species angler. And so when I'd go out, I'd have a box specifically for what I was targeting that day. So if I was going to a lake where I knew there's like big pikes or muskies, I would like bring big items like big inline spinners, spoons, bigger rattle traps, big swim baits, stuff like that. Like not giant swim baits, not like Huddlestons or whatever, but like the biggest like Storm 360 GT swim baits that I had, which are like 5.5 inches or something. I've had a lot of success on that with those for that specific targeting, specific species. And then if I caught a goldfish on those like little tiny hooks. I literally just brought those hooks with me, night crawlers, some dough bait, and a bobber. And that's all I took with me because I knew I just wanted to target these invasive goldfish in this pond. And so with that, like, you don't have to bring all of your tackle if you're going to a pond. That's just gonna weigh your bag down, and it's not, I don't think it's like the best idea to do. That's why I got away from like having my giant tackle box that I had, because I was under this like mentality that I need to fill this entire tackle box with stuff, and it was just stuff. So a lot of things I don't use. Like, I was looking through it, and it's like, I don't use a lot of this, which was crazy. And a lot of that stuff is like what I got rid of and sold on like Facebook Marketplace, and got rid of the giant tackle box as well. So I've only had this tackle bag. I've only been doing that for the like past couple of years, really. Pond hopping like in college and whatever. So create like a little day box specific for like what species you want to go out and like target. So it vary, like my day box would vary like depending on where I was going. Or I would just have those like 3 trays: crankbaits, jerkbaits, and then Texas rig box. And this moves on to my next point. So every year I try to make a goal of like what I want to do fishing wise. So last summer up in the Midwest, because you can only really fish in summer unless you want to drill through 2 feet of ice to like go fishing. So with that, I had this goal that I see a lot of people using Texas rigs, and it's not something I'm super comfortable with. I want to try to Texas rig fish more and jig fish more. And by doing that, I became a more well-rounded angler, because I was persistent in using those techniques, and they were the techniques that caught me the most fish last summer. So it's always good, in my opinion, to have a goal for your fishing. My goal this year, when I finally get my flipping fishing licenses, is I want to focus more on chatterbait fishing, because that's not something that I've had a ton of success with. I also want to focus more on upping my frog fishing game. That's just something that, in my opinion, probably the best kind of fishing. It's like catching big bass on a topwater frog. There's like nothing, like those blowups are insane. So, my advice for your tackle bag: do what works for you. What's been working, keep with that. Don't go off and buy stuff that you're not comfortable with yet. When you have that goal to get better at that item, pick up just a couple as you go. So you're not spending a ton of money and it's just sitting in your like tray or your tackle box and it's not being used. Because that's what I did for a lot of years, and it's like I felt like I like wasted money on stuff because I was not using it. So that's kind of my thing for this video. If you have any questions or like what are your favorite techniques, go ahead and like comment them down below, So I'm genuinely curious to know what people really like to do. Hit that subscribe button, share this video, like it, and we will see you for the next one.